The story unfolds in a small, quiet town still haunted by a dark past. Years ago, a brutal killer terrorized the community, leaving scars that never fully healed. Everyone believed it had ended when the man set himself on fire, supposedly destroying the evil once and for all. But now, strange events are stirring again, and the town's sense of safety is unraveling. Whispers fill the air about shadows moving where no one should be, strange noises echoing in empty streets, and ominous marks appearing in unexpected places. The fear is palpable, even though no one speaks it aloud. People lock their doors early, children are kept inside, and neighbors watch each other warily. The sense of normal life has vanished, replaced by a tension that hangs over every street and alley. At the center of the story is a determined resident who senses the danger growing stronger. Driven by fear but also courage, this person seeks answers beyond the ordinary. They consult a medium, hoping to communicate with spirits or gain insight into the strange occurrences. The rituals they perform reveal cryptic warnings. The evil that was thought destroyed may have returned, stronger and more unpredictable than before. The resident teams up with a trusted law officer, someone connected to them through family, to uncover the truth. Together, they begin to trace links between the past killings and the current disturbances. It slowly becomes clear that the events from years ago were never fully contained. The darkness survived, waiting for the right moment to rise again. As Halloween approaches, the town grows increasingly tense. Streets empty quickly, shadows stretch long, and even familiar buildings seem strange and threatening. The air feels thick, and every creak or gust of wind sets nerves on edge. Then the horror begins to strike directly. People are attacked in terrifying ways. One is found badly injured, another disappears mysteriously, and another suffers a sudden violent assault. It becomes clear that the force behind these events is the same evil that once terrorized the town, now moving unseen but deliberate. The resident and the law officer scramble to respond. They study the patterns of attacks and consult the medium again, trying to predict the next strike. But the evil is cunning, slipping through the town like smoke. It distorts familiar paths, manipulates spaces, and preys on fear itself. Even with preparation, danger is everywhere. Objects move on their own, whispers echo in empty rooms, and shadows shift in impossible ways. Every attempt at protection tests the limits of courage and wit. The town teeters on the edge of panic, caught between the living and the unseen, while the resident moves ever closer to understanding how to confront the terror. As the days pass, the evil becomes bolder. The resident and the law officer notice signs everywhere. Doors left open that had been locked, objects moved to impossible places, and windows showing shadows that vanish when approached. The town's streets, once familiar, now feel like traps. Every corner hides the potential for danger. Every alleyway is a possible path for the unseen force. The resident returns to the medium, performing more rituals in search of guidance. The messages are unclear, but hauntingly precise. The evil has returned, not just encounter leaves the resident more determined but also more aware of the danger they face. At night, the town feels empty. The streets are quiet, but tension hums beneath the surface. Lights flicker, creating pockets of darkness where the entity can strike. The resident patrols critical areas with the law officer, moving carefully and noting every unusual occurrence. They rely on intuition and patterns more than logic, knowing the evil they face does not obey the rules of the natural world. As the story progresses, the sense of inevitability grows. The evil is patient, calculating, and relentless. It tests the boundaries of fear, using the town's own memories and anxieties against them. The resident understands that survival depends on facing the darkness head-on, but even with preparation, every step feels precarious. As the nights grow darker, the evil becomes increasingly aggressive. The resident and the law officer find themselves confronting its presence more directly. Unseen forces shove doors open, objects crash around them, and strange sounds echo through empty halls. Every corner feels alive, as if the town itself has become a trap designed by the malevolent force. The resident begins to realize that the evil is not confined to one location. It moves freely, following them wherever they go. Attempts to hide or barricade themselves are futile. Even familiar buildings and streets have become unpredictable, bending and twisting under the weight of fear. Shadows stretch in impossible directions, and whispers pierce through walls, calling out names that should not be spoken aloud. Through careful observation and repeated rituals with the medium, the resident gains a clearer understanding of the entity's patterns. They recognize that the evil feeds on fear, anticipation, and hesitation. Every step they take, every movement they make, is being watched and measured. Survival depends on courage, focus, and knowing where to act. The attacks grow more targeted and frightening. The town's residents experience strange disturbances in their homes. Windows shatter, furniture moves, and inexplicable marks appear on walls. Pets refuse to enter rooms, and the wind carries sounds that are impossible to explain. It becomes clear that the malevolent presence has returned fully, and it is relentless. Despite the terror, the resident persists. Combining insight from the rituals and knowledge gained from observing the evil, they begin to create strategies to protect themselves and the community. Careful traps are set, escape routes are mapped, and protective barriers are reinforced. Every encounter with the entity tests their resolve, forcing them to confront the darkness directly rather than flee from it. As tension reaches its peak, the town becomes a battleground of anticipation and fear. Every sound, every shadow, and every movement could signal danger. The evil presses relentlessly, exploiting every weakness and hesitation. But the resident and their ally remain vigilant, acting decisively to counter the attacks wherever possible. In the final moments, the evil's influence reaches its highest intensity. The town is shrouded in darkness, the streets and buildings heavy with an unseen threat. The resident faces the ultimate test, relying on all they have learned to anticipate and resist the entity's power. Every choice matters. Every action could mean survival or failure. The story closes with the sense that while this chapter of terror has been confronted, the evil remains persistent, lurking in shadows and waiting for opportunity. The town survives, but the memory of its presence lingers. Silence returns, but unease remains, a reminder that darkness is patient and evil never truly disappears.